That's such a good thing we could do to Larry.
Listen, I've only forgotten to press it one time this session, dude. All right, one time.
You know it's gonna be more than one.
For now, yeah, maybe. I mean, we don't know that.
I know that you know that we all know it's gonna be more than one.
You know that I know that we all know that you specifically probably know that I practiced bobsled today.
I am so good at sled to the edge.
I think it's gonna put me on the outside corner.
This guy loves edging.
I love basketball.
Basketball.
Bobsled.
Watch the examples.
Oh, I wasn't counting. Fuck. Okay.
Why do you guys count? Just use the example.
Yeah, that's what I've learned.
Yeah, that's what I meant, but like I wasn't even. I forgot that we have to reference
I see.
this.
Yeah.
Okay.
Got it.
Okay.
Hello everyone. Welcome back to the stream. I definitely didn't forget I was watching something when I pressed start streaming. No, definitely didn't. No need to worry about that at all. But welcome back. We are here at Bahrain for some racing. Also just realised I'm going to... Yeah, right. Alright, there we go. So yes. Welcome back. We are here at Bahrain Outer circuit for another GT3 race. It's penultimate round of our Friday series. And I need to take a load of fuel out. Welcome Ben, welcome Kiki. Good to see you too. What do I need? Oh, I need to increase fuel ratio. And 10 laps. Yeah, that should be good. Headlights on. Right, and we should have a good gap to those making their way to the last corner. Yes, penultimate round here. And I'm hoping we can have a good final couple of rounds starting here at Bahrain Outer. Of course, gold tires. Cold tires not made easy, with being a little bit chilly here in the depth of nighttime at Bahrain. Though, in fairness, it isn't that cold. 30 degrees ambient, 22 degrees track temp, so the track much cooler than the ambient conditions. So we're gonna have to try and get the tires up to temperature. And around this Bahrain Outer circuit, that is a little bit more difficult, let's just say. Not a lot of corners, not a lot of technical sections. You've got these 3 long straights that make up pretty much 3/4 of the circuit. And then you've got sort of the section unique to not just the outer layout, but the endurance layout as well. It's pretty much your only place to really build tire temperature. So it does take quite a while to build that tire temperature up. You were loving this track in GTEs last week. Yeah, I remember back when this track was released, did a 100-minute race around here. Really good race. Me and a Mustang had a really good battle. I was needing to fuel save, but I'd taken new tires at the pit stop. They didn't take tires at the pit stop, but had enough fuel to go flat out to the end. It was a really good battle. Trying to see which strategy was gonna work out best. Actually do a bit of weaving, try and get a little bit more tire temp in. So yeah, looking forward to tonight's race. Might not be a 100-minute race, might not have the interesting strategy, but I'm hoping we can still have some good close racing. We're in very snappy there through turn 2. Kind of makes me want to turn up the rear wing angle, but can't afford to lose straight line speed here with how much of the track is straights. Yes, the cooler conditions, usually I'd split a 15-minute quali session into 2 parts. Returning to the pits, getting fresh tires at approximately the halfway point. Not going to do that here. Don't think tire wear is going to be as bad in this quali session. And as said, getting the tires up to temperature is going to be more of a struggle. So just running laps, trying to get temperature into the tires, I think is going to be a little bit more important. Not so great through turn 1, but clean run through turn 2 sees us making up time. Time isn't looking great at the moment, which is a little bit disappointing. As you may have noticed, much like we were on Monday, we've sort of gone back to the strategy of just using the ABS. So far this season, of course, we've been attempting to run on ABS 1 and managing the braking ourselves, avoiding lockups. It didn't feel like it was working out too badly, but the car was quite unstable under braking. And felt like there's maybe a little bit more pace to unlock from using the ABS. And I've seen the pole lap from last week at Fuji. A fellow Aston Martin driver, he was certainly abusing using the ABS. So I figured, yeah, if they're doing it, then it probably is the quicker way. Doesn't feel too bad in the force feedback. .3 gets us up to P10. Bad traffic in front. Couldn't quite see where the apex of turn 2 was, and trying to take turn 2 flat out requires you to be pinpoint perfect. And yeah, difficult to do that when you can't see the corner. Just under 7 minutes left in the session. We still have 4 laps of fuel. Looks like our fuel and energy estimate is equal, which is good to see. So away we go for another 4 laps here. Finding time on the turn 1 apex, but not being able to carry it through turns 2 and 3. Turned in, yeah, turned in a little too early there. Annoyingly throwing away both this lap and this next lap that we've just started. So currently 1.2 seconds off the top time of a 1:13.1. So here we go, 2 more laps. Won't quite bring us to the end of the session. but it is all that we fueled up for. I gained a little bit of time through the first few corners. Finding a bit of time through the middle sector, by quarter of a second up as we come to the final corner. Gain time on the way in, losing a little bit of it on the way out, will be nearly 3/10 of an improvement. Get us back up to P11, final lap here. A little bit more time to find through the first few corners. Not quite getting the car turned into turn 4 how I wanted to, but getting a much better exit. Even better run through the middle sector. And again, just over 2/10 up. Turned into our late, had to turn out. So losing a bit of time. There'll still be nearly 2/10 of an improvement, which will put us P9. P9 into the top 10, missing out by 34 thousandths. 34? No, 24 thousandths of a second on P8. That final corner, that's where the time was. And now we have to sit and wait, watch the time screens to see where we will finish up. See if we'll be demoted any more positions. Few cars already in pit lane. Still in P9, as the final times will be coming in. Looks like the BMW has held on to pole. 3 Aston Martin second to 4th. We're a little bit behind them. More and more cars. That looks like, yep, that is everyone back to pit lane. So we will start P9 for this race. I can't remember how that fares for our qualifying positions so far this series. I think it might be our best. I want to say brakes.
Teams and drivers go to the grid
That's-
for a race start.
That's odd that the front brakes have more blanking than the rears. Huh. I'm just going to close them by 10% more. I don't think they were right on the limit. I think closing them a little bit could hopefully get a little bit more heat into them, a little bit more heat into the tires. Try and see if we can find sort of like a little bit of pace in that regard. But yeah, it's track's down to 20 degrees now. So a little bit cooler for the race here, which isn't going to help those tires. But we'll wait 2.5 minutes till we get away to start the race. I think we'll go, right, it says we'll go 38 laps, maybe 39, depending on the racing. Looks like we'll get 49 laps. So we'll need to fill up 12 laps. And what is 12 laps? About 31, 32 yeah, about 31%. I'll probably fill up to about 32, 33 just to be safe. In fact, that might be a lap safe. Yeah, we'll only need 11 laps, so 29% should theoretically get us to the end. We'll see where fuel and energy usage is like in the race and do a little calculation there just to make sure that, yeah, that sort of figure is correct. Yeah, I think we might be on the, I think we'll be on the outside here for T1. Inside, actually. Turn the headlights on. And we can change the pit strategy. Since it does take a little while to get down. We'll set on 30%.
Formation lap has started.
Someone's not going. I think the pole sitter has been teleported back to pit lane for driving erratically. It's been an odd start sequence here. Not too much of a surprise for LMU, but we're waiting for the start.
Green flag, green flag.
Contact in front, Fry behind has a penalty already, but we're green for the start of the 5th round here. Trying to hang it around the outside of the Fry for P8. Not quite able to. And Fry's going to get up the inside of the McLaren. It's going to be moved on for them. We're going to get a really good run through the left-hander. McLaren's going to try and fight back into the chicane. We're going to squeeze it on the second apex though, and we'll have the momentum. That's P8 on the exit. McLaren closes up in the braking zone, but we get a good exit. There goes the Ferrari peeling off into the pits. That Ferrari peeling off, there's a bit of a gap behind the McLaren. That's BMW off. A little too tight on the left-hand curb there. Really poor run for the Ferrari. Gonna make that move stick into the final corner. Aston Martin in front, pulling off into the pits. Ferrari's gonna try and come back at us here into T1. Not able to hold it around the outside. Getting a bit of a poor exit there, so going to give the McLaren a run. But it's ultimately not going to be close enough. That's a very poor run through the chicane. Okay, McLaren's going to try pushing us off the track. Well, I say try, has pushed us off the track. Mustang behind, running deep into T1. snap from the rear, trying to slow the car down for the chicane. Rear end all over the place. McLaren spun off. Well, eventually caught the car, but not before we were able to make our way past. So now again passed by a BMW into T1. Fortunately, we've dropped back a bit from the Ferrari in front. Gained a little bit of time on the cars in front last lap. But if we want to, I'd say, be competitive and have a proper chance of passing them, I think we'll need to find a little bit more pace than we have currently. Again, snappy. Snappy into the chicane. Snappy out of the chicane. So now fighting for P12. I think the BMW behind us might be the BMW that was meant to start on pole. Tries the outside of T1, doesn't work. Dive bombed by another BMW. Another big snap. Why are you flashing your headlights at me? We got better exits. Just don't have the traction. A lot of fighting going on up ahead. Ferrari Mustang right on the inside edge of the track. whole queue of cars trying to get past. I just missed my braking point slightly behind the two BMWs. If I 100% fuel, I might make it to the end. I'll stay out one more lap. Just to make it safe. I might need to stay a couple more laps, to be honest, to get safe to the end. Right, one more lap. Main thing is I hope I don't come out in traffic. Damage is 40 seconds. Something was wrong with the front right tire. I don't know if it was punctured. It didn't feel punctured, but it's been replaced. Which is, yeah, so it's actually like, yeah, it's 39 seconds damage plus tires, 44. New tire isn't really gonna make that up. Not really. Veteran TC up. See if that can help settle the car down a bit. Oh. One of the Aston Martins is DNF'd. BMW serving a drive-through. Coming out just in front of us. Then completely missing their braking point at turn 4. So now we have a chance of passing that BMW when they pit. like I'm losing quite a bit of time from running the higher TC. I'd have turned to every time, okay, the car's nice and stable, but you can just see the delta climbing as the car doesn't accelerate as much. Difference between 7 and 8 feels like quite a bit. You can certainly feel the rear end of the car sliding around a bit more now. Aston Martin 14th had a slow lap there. Halfway through the race. BMWs into the pits. Bit of an early pit stop. They're putting in a lot of virtual energy, which is good for us. It means we're going to be closer to them. Still in the pits. I wonder if they're repairing damage. Either way, that's 16th for us. BMW has finally left the pits. Trying a bit wide for the apex there. I was like, oh, I'll get a cutback on the McLaren. Nope, the McLaren's just going to cut the corner and park it right where I'd want to be for a cutback. So now I've got to put in the lap times to try and get us close enough to the McLaren that when they pit, that we come out in front. Got Ferrari into the pits. Here's alright out of the pits, as sort of expected, about 40 seconds before we're gonna be passing pit exit. BMW in now. Seeing some early pit stops. BMW's... Oh, BMW must have been serving a drive-through. Because they've not taken on any virtual energy. That's another potential position. As the BMW and McLaren fight with each other, it will lose them time, giving me a better chance of passing them when they both come into the pits. BMW is finally passed after a few attempts. BMW comes into the pits. They're already over the pits into T1. "30 seconds short." Not looking good that we'll pass McLaren either, who's now taking their turn to come into the pits. McLaren making its way to pit exit now. It was a bit of a longer stop, not for virtual energy. I wonder if they were repairing damage. There they are. Just about getting in front, and that's P15. Very wide for the BMW there. Very deep on the brakes. Definitely much deeper than you want to be to make T1. Wide again for the BMW behind. They could potentially be costing themselves positions. Minutes to go in the race. Actually overfueled by quite a little bit. Definitely could have pitted sooner. Moment there of just rear end not wanting to stick. for a good lap, matching our delta. A little deep at the final corner. Just under 4 minutes to go. BMW behind is actually closing up. I think leader has just started the final lap. No, you flashed me before when you were fighting me for position, so I don't feel like letting you by so easily. I'll let you by when you're a little bit closer. Key and rear end really struggling for traction. Big wobble for the BMW there. Just brake checked me for the track limit point. immediately returning to the pits. Well, you caused your own issues. Disappointing race. Yeah, too many mistakes for myself. Just one of those days. Well, yeah, disappointing. Well, as usual, we will finish up with a bit of Art of Rally. Right. Rally, sorry. The person on pole is saying like, oh, I've no idea why I got teleported. It's like, dude, you waited like half a year before you set off. Like, what do you mean you don't know? So, Outer Valley. As usual, we'll start with the daily event. Airboard. Last time we did this was on Tuesday. So it was. We got top 5%. That was good going. In 27th. Let's see if we can replicate something similar to that today. Group A at Indonesia. 7.2 kilometer stage. In Ford Escort, or Ford Cosy. Nearly hit the hay bale. Head up into the hills now. Lovely sunset. That's a very nasty corner. Not too far from the finish now. There it is. 229.1. 20th, top 5%. That's good going. Happy with that. Right, and let's see what we have for the week of the event. Group 2's at Sardinia. 6 kilometer stage 2. Start. Stage Classic Porsche. Of course, Group 2 cars much more slidey than the Group A cars. Much less acceleration as well. Okay, clean stage, 221.4. 53rd's not that great. So it isn't. We'd like to be a little further up. 10.9 kilometer stage now. Well, wide of the apex there. Crossing the bridge. About a third of the way into the second stage. Should have opened up the entry to that corner a bit more. Turned it way too late there, probably lost nearly a second, the final corner. But we have gained our positions up to 34th, top 5%. So yeah, hopefully can make up some more places as we get into the second pass. We'll clean the car. I don't think it will be for much. We're into a 6 kilometer stage. Bit of tarmac in this stage, but it is raining. So it's going to be a bit of a slip and slide. As if this car was no race sliding enough. even in the dry conditions. Oh, that's a rock. A little bit more grip now on this tarmac section as we go through the village here. Back onto the gravel. Not too far from the finish now. There's line 316.2. Gets us up to 30th. So continuing to prove even with that mistake nearly hitting the rock. Now we have nearly another 10 kilometers in the fog this time to try and improve. Grazed the hay bale there. That's frustrating. Kirkworthy wants to rotate at the best of times, but then on that landing from jump, it's like, oh no, I'm going to go into a spin. again, car getting squirrely over the jump. Let's try and keep it on the road. There's finish through 5.1. Fall down to 33rd. Yeah, again, wasn't the best of stages. Definitely a bit of time for improvement throughout those 2 stages. But, yeah, oh well. Bit of a disappointing race today. A few too many mistakes. Struggled with car balance a bit. And, yeah, too many mistakes on my part to really get a good result. But, yeah, that's the way it is. Yeah, hopefully we have one more round next week, which is going to be at... Love getting disturbed. Next round at Imola. So we will, for the final round, Imola, wonderful circuit. Should be some good fun. But yeah, that's going to do it for today. Again, thank you very much for watching. Thank you, Gigi. Thank you, Ben, for popping by. And yeah, thank you to anyone else who is lurking and or is watching the VOD back. Hopefully, again, we'll see y'all. We'll also be back on Sunday with 100 minutes of Bahrain endurance. Very awkward layout, that one. And then on Monday, we have another GT3 race, this time 65 minutes at Monza without the first chicane. That'll be very interesting. First race around that layout of the track. Yeah, could be an interesting one. But yeah, that's going to do it for today's stream. Thank you very much for watching. Hopefully I'll see you all during the weekend. If not, have a good weekend. Until next time, take care. Bye-bye.